The process puzzle. For some folks, understanding process is a puzzle. We're going to look at the pieces of the process puzzle and see what it takes to bring them all together in a process map. A lot of folks have seen or even worked with process maps that didn't really help. Most don't. Most are just boxes and arrows that provide only a hint of the work involved.
Let's take a quick look. Here's a software order process displayed as a box and arrow flowchart. It's simple. In fact, it's too simple. Every step demands more questions than it answers. Let's look at the first step. Customer places software order. It's a trigger. Good, that's helpful. But how helpful is it? Did the customer call? Did they mail in the order? Did they fax the order? Did they order online? These are all questions that have to be answered if we're going to understand the process. These are all questions that aren't answered by this flowchart. Here are a few more. Where do the orders come in? Who receives them? Are they received in multiple locations? By different people? The next step, the activity or process box, is where the work actually starts. Collect customer name, address, and credit card. Collected where? By whom? Is an employee even involved here? How do the orders come in? If they're coming in by phone, is there a standard form for capturing order information? Or is the information captured directly into a database or order system? The decision diamond indicates the credit card validation. Is it manual or electronic? Are we really going to enter an endless loop of retrying the card if it's a bad card number? What about purchase orders? Is cash okay? How about a check or money order? Who knows? The next process box, email order confirmation, is clear enough. Or is it? Where does the email address come from? It wasn't captured in the first process box. And how is it being sent? Is it being sent directly by a system? Is it being sent semi-manually through an email client? By whom? Who knows? Next, the order's processed. Isn't this what the entire flowchart represents? So what does this mean? Now the data is being entered into a system? A CD is burned? A registration number is assigned? Once again, who knows? Finally, the software is shipped. Is this an electronic shipment? A CD? Both? The flowchart doesn't tell us. Each step in the flow represents a different high-level function that needs explaining. The flowchart provides clues to what's going on, but not answers. So, what will help us understand process? Some people relate process to the computer systems that support the work. Systems are a piece of the process puzzle. Our most valuable resource is often overlooked in process work. The people who do the work are absolutely a piece of the process puzzle. Do you know where the work occurs? It would be tough to find the other pieces of the process puzzle if you didn't know the locations of the work. The locations are another piece of the process puzzle. Documents, forms, email, reports, spreadsheets, paper and electronic are the foundation of every information process. They are where information is captured, how it is transported, and how it's used. They're also missing on most process maps. Yet, they're an integral piece of the process puzzle. Some things make a lot of sense. for development, but not so much for helping people understand the work involved in a process. They don't fit in our process puzzle. So what else does help us understand process? Well, how long do the process steps take? Where's the value added? Specifically, where in an information process is information added or changed? Where are process decisions made? Decisions that change the course of the flow. And where are the controls? The inspections to determine if items flowing through the process are correct. And how are the items that don't pass inspection handled? How can we capture the answers to all these questions? Graham process maps answer these questions. Graham process maps show systems and the relationships between systems. No other maps do this. With Graham process maps, the systems are clearly displayed. The person doing the work is clear for every step in the process. If a step is handled by an application, that's shown too. In the example, blue text shows who's doing the work every time the person or application changes. The location, shown in red, is identified at the beginning of the process and then again every time it changes. Every item, every document, every form, every email, every spreadsheet, every database, every system flows along its own process flow line. If orders are received through the internet, via fax, and over the phone, then each of those alternative methods is represented. Graham process maps are the only maps that break a process down to the items. The reality that people who do the work understand. Times can be captured at every step, but are typically displayed with those steps where time is a concern, particularly with delays, where something that could be worked on right now is sitting in an inbox or is someplace else where it's not being used. Delays are apparent on Graham process maps. Specific symbols indicate value added. The originate shows the introduction of a new record or document. The add alter shows adding or changing information on an existing document. Value added steps stand out on Graham process maps. Decisions can be displayed for individual items or groups of items. In this example, we see what happens when a credit card number is processed. At the decision point, the work will follow just one of the alternative paths. Decisions are clearly displayed in Graham process maps. A square symbol indicates an inspection. The 4 right angles on the square remind you that this step is an inspection to see if the item being processed is right. The example section of our process maps begins with an inspection. After a short delay, the inspection is followed by a decision. If the card is approved, follow the lower path. If it's not approved, follow the dotted line upper path. Graham process maps show process controls. Are you ready for the gold standard in process mapping? Graham process maps speak the language of process, a universal language that can be spoken and understood by anyone.
The Graham Process Mapping Method was over 40 years old before the acronym BPM was used in reference to process.
ANSI and ASME named the symbols in Graham mapping the standard for process charts long before anyone ever heard of re-engineering. Graham Process Mapping software was introduced nearly 2 decades ago, in 1990. If you're ready to rediscover the language of process, to chart your course, to become master of your processes, the starting line is here.